and I still have to develop this class, the main class. This is actually going to be. I haven't done uh, your abilities yet, but this is basically like the team class. When this class is when you're using this class, uh, your the assist, what you see here, teammates come in more frequently. Let's see. There we go. But just very quick. Oh yeah, there. Okay, but yeah, as you can see, I have my party members come in. You can see they're there, and they level up and everything. They level up. They have their own stats, and their stats affect Zola stats too. They're gonna basically be equipment. Still working on it, you know. Still, this will be prettier later on, but still in the alpha conceptual phases, trying to hurry up and get into beta. But yeah, this class, the cybercaster, is this is if you guys are, if you out there who are have ever played the Mega Man Battle Network games, which is this game is definitely pulling a lot of inspiration from. Mega Man Battle Network 3, there was a style, which are like classes essentially. Uh, it had a style called Team Style, and Team Style basically made it where you could use. It was all about taking advantage of, I guess, what is essentially assist in this game. Uh, and this is kind of it's pretty much the same thing. The assists, they actually have variables that count up each time you use an ability in battle. And once it hits a certain threshold, they come in. And when they come in, they do their thing, and the individual assist count resets. Uh, and how much that threshold is increased actually depends on how close you are to that character. I'm gonna have sort of a companion system similar to Persona, and which is actually uh, these variables here, uh, these companion points, and they're probably these points are probably max out at around 80 or 100. But yeah, like you'll like when you're progressing through the story, you'll do like a main story segment, and then after you do that main story segment, you'll like go home, you go to sleep, and you'll start the next day. This isn't fully like Persona where it's locked to each day, but you'll actually have the option, like before you move on to the next story segment, to interact with certain characters that you have access to that you've met along the story. And depending on who you choose, you can only choose uh, one or two characters in each at the end of like each major story segment to kind of hang out with. And when you hang out with them, that's your opportunity to boost your companion points with them and to make them stronger. And so it's kind of like Persona in that regard. And and when you do that, I'll even have I'm gonna plan on having an option where you can buy like sort of like superfluous items that you can gift them that can increase their companion points even more. And the higher their companion points, the more frequently they show up, and the more attacks they have access to. and just and once you reach the end of the game, uh, obviously there's no more story left to really build them up. So at that point, you can just build them up slowly through battles, just by having them in your party and just completing like battles. And certain battles, like boss battles, will increase your companion points even more. So you're never like completely screwed if you want to like max out everybody. It's just you'll just have certain advantages like throughout the main story if you level up certain characters, and not every character will be easy to load to. Like Afida, which is the girl in red, uh, right there. She will pretty much be Zola's best friend, so her initial points will be super high. And on top of that, she'll just show up more frequently anyways. Because I mean that's her her closest friend, so she's just there for her. So she'll be easy to build up. And that might be up to the player. Well, because the field is already so close to Zola, I might want to focus on another character like Christoria, which is the yellow haired one here, who will be sort of like a rival, and her companion points initially will be pretty low, so you kind of have to go out your way to really build her up. But it might be to your benefit because you might be going for a specific build. Let's say you want a like a tanky uh, build that focuses on freezing the opponent and doing like high break damage, which I was telling you before how certain attacks deal bonus damage depending on the enemy states that you apply to them. And if you're going for something like that, Christoria is really good for like a tanky version of that. She can shield past the enemy, which you'll be able to see, which does break damage, and she can also boost your defense whenever you're about to take damage. So yeah, but yeah, when you're in this class, uh, your allies just the metrics for it. It reduces it by nearly it almost doubles that point count that racks up to for them to come into battle. So it's almost like you're getting twice the amount of assist in per battle, and you probably be able to notice that in the fight. See how frequently she's coming in. So, or another class, you wouldn't really see it that often, and that's sort of the benefit of this class. This class doesn't really take full advantage of any of the artillery, like the attacks per se. Their thing is it's more about the team work. So you might want to just have it where you just get some really basic, powerful attacks and shuffle for them, and just focus on your teammates doing the work for you, like that. So, versus if I were to switch to another class, they won't pop in as frequently, but they don't really need to because pretty strong without them. Yeah, I don't really need them that much for damage. But yeah. So yeah, let me switch back just to. Yeah, they're coming a lot more frequently, as you can see. It's almost like every other attack that I use. But yeah, and what I'm planning on doing for this class, the Cybercaster, is whenever an assist comes in, depending on which number you have flashing, Zola will actually, when the assist comes in, Zola, she'll follow up the assist with an attack, depending on uh, which one of these you have flashing. So let's say if you have the middle one flashing, Afida, the one with the axe, comes in and bashes the guy. Well, before Afida leaves, Zola will follow her up with an attack. Maybe she'll like shoot like an extra laser beam or something like that. And then after she shoots that laser beam, she'll restore one class action point. She'll get an extra shuffle whenever you use the middle one. And then maybe like the third one, Zola does an attack that does a lot of damage whenever an assist comes in and does something. And then for number one, whenever assist comes in while you have this flashing yellow, he something kind of defensive. This is sort of like the all-around type class. This isn't really like hyper focused on anything in general. It's more like the very broad class. You can kind of fit almost anything, any type of play style around. Whereas these are like super hyper specific, where this you want to take advantage of the immunity here and super tanky, and this one you want to get that damage in. But this one's going to be more of a general, all-purpose type class that really excels at the team element. So if you're really keen on increasing your companion points, then this class will reward you a lot. It'll really come in and help you out. And I have other classes too that I'm still focusing on, like this class here, the Zogan class, which is like the sword master class. This class is pretty it's pretty fast and it's pretty straightforward as far as what it's all about. I might tweak this one a little bit more. This is actually the very first class I figured this system out with, and maybe I'll showcase here. Put a deck together. The thing I like about this new layout here is this is where you actually equip all of your artillery. And there's artillery deck rules here. You see these little blue icons here. How I'm going to have it is that each artillery deck, you see this elite deck here, they usually hover around like 6 or 7 to 10 slots per artillery deck, and you can equip these artillery cards to the deck, which are basic items that you can find everywhere, scattered everywhere. From they can drop from enemies, or you can find them, wherever. And they actually have tiers to them. So the blue tier, the Kilo class, this is the basic tier, and this is most broad tier. This is where most of the abilities are. They're basically Kilo class, the basic level. If you guys ever played Mega Man Battle Net with me, you probably have already figured this out, what this really is. Like, this is actually the Mega class tier, and this is the red is the Giga class tier. And the Giga class tier is basically there's basically Giga chips from Mega Man Battle Network. They're the most powerful. You can only equip 1, maybe 2 at the most, depending on which deck you're using. They're very hard to get. but they're very powerful. And the Mega class is like in the middle, so that's the second highest tier. And each artillery deck actually has different metrics. Like they have different limitations. Like this class, it's like one of the very first artillery deck you get in the game, so it's not as it's more limited than the elite deck that just showed off. In this deck here, the Magi deck, as you can see, it doesn't have a Giga slot, but it has a third Mega tier slot. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm going for with this game. And I actually like this approach because instead of making this like abilities that you just equip, I decided to make it where I'm using Yanfly's item core and item attachment plugin. And I really like this instead of just the basic equip abilities plugin that you use in the skill menu, because you have more flexibility here with what you can equip. And the cool thing is that if you want to switch to a different class, like I just edited I just edited this deck, right? Well, let's say I'm tired of using the Swordmaster class, so I'll just go and I'll equip this here, and I'll equip this here, and boom, that's it. I can just go ahead and I'm good to go. I can just go ahead and fight with a different build and everything. I don't have to go through a bunch of menus and this and that too much. Like if there's a stray artillery card that I want to equip, it's not too much of a hassle to equip, to like remove and replace. But yeah, I kind of like this.